Robert, you specifically talked about making a target list, and you named off some of the things and how you tied it in. I'll give you an opportunity to expand on, because what I really want to know is how did you make your target list? How do you decide who you're going to go after, who you're not? You alluded to some of it. I'm going to start with you so you can add a little color, and it gives Don and Desiree a little bit of time to think about their response to the same question.
Sure. So you know you're going to be either trying to collect donations for a breakfast contest, a lunch contest, or a dinner contest. So start there, right? And identify your targets based on the foods and the services that they can provide as it aligns to those three different areas of the day, right? Either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Make a list of the well-known brands that are out there, right? Jason's Deli, Taco Cabana, Chick-fil-A. Once you've identified that, hit restaurants first. Also tie in supermarkets, because it's important, critical to tie in a supermarket, because you're gonna need paper products, you're gonna need paper plates, knives, forks, all that stuff that goes along with it. You're gonna need your other materials, your flyers and things like that. So you need to identify a Staples or an Office Max that can give you those materials, but then find a way to differentiate. I mentioned it in my speech. You need to think outside of the box, because not only are you gonna hit that target list, everyone else is gonna be hitting it too. So you want to make sure that you're finding a way to hit a list of people that no one else is going to be targeting.
To add on to that, because I'm last minute, I'm just gonna put that out there. I never make the deadlines. I never make the 4-week, 8-week deadlines. So hit mom and pop places that are self-owned, because they still get write-offs for doing donations. They are still a business. They still get a write-off. And the thing is, those mom and pop places probably need the advertisements more than Walmart or more than Target or more than any other places. For instance, I got a breakfast spread from a taco place downtown. Nobody knows about it. It was a Black-owned place called Just Tex Tacos. And everyone's like, no, we're not gonna eat there. And then I got it catered. I was like, hey, if I pay half, will y'all donate half and cater? And they were like, sure, what? We gotta, and it's at this place. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, I'll pick it up. You don't have to pay for delivery. We'll just do it that way. They got so much business from me just doing a breakfast spread for them, because no one knew they were actually good food. Because, it was a weird name, Just Tex Tacos. Like, you're like, okay, is it just Texas tacos? Is it like street tacos? Like, the name's kind of weird. But they have amazing tacos, and they've been, every time, like, I call them for anything, they're like, of course, because every time you do something, we get an influx of people to our restaurant. So definitely try to target mom and pop places, because they get the write-off, they need the advertisement, going back to what Don said, that free marketing almost. Because if you take something good, you're gonna go back to it. Case in point, when we got the, I think it's called, I'm gonna butcher the name, but we had an African restaurant cater for the Metro Division as a donation. That food was amazing. And me and my husband has been back twice. So, definitely want to do those types of things. Mom and pop places is the place to hit for me.
I guess my answer to the question about what targets is very similar to what Robert was saying, as far as you need to know if you're doing breakfast, lunch, or dinner first. But you also don't just start with, for me, I don't start with just, these are the companies I'm going to target. I start with creating my flyer. And this is the flyer that my assistant Andy created for our last area contest, which was all heart healthy related. And so because the theme was heart healthy, like Robert was saying in his speech earlier, we used the theme to target different locations that were more healthy type but I don't just limit it to what is on my target list. I'll go to the target place and I'll hit every single store in that little center that makes sense for either a gift card to give away as a helper gift, or to offer, if they're a food place, then it might be the type of food that we're looking for. And so I don't necessarily limit it to my target list. I'll more like have a target map. And so I'll go around, I probably only spent about 10 hours total of soliciting for donations out of 65 hours that I to the contest. And then behind that is the letter that you were going to email them later. This all gets emailed later as a follow-up. And then behind that is the Internal Revenue Service letter from the Toastmasters International. It has the tax ID on it, which is usually all they really need. But this letter shows them that this is a real nonprofit organization right from the start. And a lot of times you'll walk in, and I like to do door-to-door because I'm outgoing and I'm friendly and I enjoy talking to people. It gives me energy. And if you don't like that process, try it at least once and see how much more effective it can be, because that personal touch can really be helpful. And so what I do is I just walk in and I say, I'd like to talk to your manager. If the manager
Come on.
Thank you for the idea of asking for donations that can be used for gifts for the helpers, because I had not thought about that. I only thought about food and decorations and ice, that sort of thing. What did you spend the rest of the money on? $975 would buy a lot of food, some nice decorations, tablecloths, but what actually did you spend it all on?
So when I got all those donations, right? I mean, towards the end, I got a flood of donations. And what do you do with it? Is exactly my thought. So you give them away as helper gifts. That's the one thing. What I did in my contest, and I'm not necessarily, saying this to be a proponent of this type of activity, but I raffled off all of the gifts that I had during my contest.
Yes.
So we had like a Hunger Games type of a theme overall. And, in Hunger Games, not to deviate too much from the discussion, you know how there's a purging, right? Where they're selecting people that participate in the Hunger Games. Well, I purged gifts for the people in the audience. So a lot of the audience members went away with something. That's what I did with it. And to really build excitement and build anticipation about the contest, I had stated that I was going to be doing that leading up to the contest. So I got a lot of people to turn out to attend the contest, to support the contest, because I did that.
I did the same thing. We had abundance of food. We got a lot of food donations. What ended up happening last minute on the border catered the entire thing. And then I had donations for other restaurants. So we had food on top of food, on top of food, on top of that food. And people were rolling out with pans, like aluminum pans full of food. And we did a contest all day. So we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it was literally food on top of food on top of food. But we had a lot of great gifts, like thermal. We got a case of thermal cups, like the really good kind that keep your drinks really cold for like 24 hours. They sent me a 50 case of those. I got 50 bags, I think it was. So we were putting cups in bags and we were handing them out to pretty much everybody. We did games and we were handing them out. All the helpers. I mean, if you even said a word, you got something. Like, literally, if you stood up and said, "Here, helper." So we were giving out stuff left and right, and it was very enjoyable. Everybody was like, "I can't believe we got to leave with something that was awesome." And then what I did is what was left, because we still couldn't give out everything. I used it for our Metro Division basket. So our baskets for each contest, or each conference was really nice. Metro had the best basket, we're just gonna claim that. So of course I couldn't give out hotel stays at a contest, so those went in the basket. We got some wireless speakers that we didn't want to, cause like if someone got a cup and then someone else got Bluetooth wireless speakers, I think that, so things like that, we just saved it and put it in the Metro Division basket, and that actually limited how much people had to come out of pocket to fill in that basket at the end of the contest.
You want me to answer that question?
I
I did have something to say. I like all the ideas. I even wrote down division baskets because I'm a division director. I've got my notes here too. Thank you guys. So yes, door prizes are great. I've actually been, before I was an area director, when I was the president of the club, I had to actually contribute to the area directors contest because they weren't able to get enough donations. And that is sort of a last minute thing that it may have to happen if, for example, the area director has a lot going on in their life and they don't have time to solicit for donations. So it's not like against the rules to do that, but it gives your presidents especially, but your clubs that you're serving a different sort of taste in their mouth about what you're doing for them, and so it's better if you can make the contest something that you're offering to them, and you're more likely to get a lot more participation if when they come to a contest that they know it's kind of like a party for them to enjoy, and it's good to get their participation, but it's better if their participation is in filling the roles than it is if they have to bring food or pay to be at the contest. And so it's really helpful to have the surplus. And if you do have more than you need, for example, I had one donator who was an owner of real estate, and she actually was not somebody I was targeting. I was at Utopia Food and Fitness, soliciting at the last minute to just finally to get a few more things for the Town North Division contest since I was a hospitality chair this last spring. And this lady just overheard me soliciting. And she came over and she's like, "I want to know about Toastmasters." So I took out my flyer for my club, which I always carry with me, and told her all about my club. But I also, she was like, "Well, I also want to